You know that feeling, right? Where it seems like your brain has a mind of its own? Like there's some kind of hidden code running in the background, making you do things that, well, in hindsight, seem a little irrational. Turns out, you're not wrong. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on our own minds and look at these fascinating hidden bugs in our mental software that are secretly guiding our decisions every single day. All right, let's just dive right in with a question. You're going on a fantastic vacation. When would you rather pay for it? Before you even pack your bags or after you're back home with all those great memories? Now, logically, paying after seems better, right? You get to hold on to your money for longer. So why do so many of us actually prefer to pay first? It's our first big clue that our brain isn't running on a standard calculator. It's using something else entirely. So to figure out this little mystery, we have to look inside, what I like to call your brain's very, very weird wallet. Yep, we're going under the hood to check out the strange, kind of emotional logic our mind uses when it comes to spending money. And this brings us to our first mental bug. It's a concept psychologists call double entry mental accounting. Now, forget everything you know about normal accounting with debits and credits. Our brain system is completely different. Think of it more like a psychological balance sheet that runs on feelings, not just cold, hard numbers. So what's actually on this weird psychological balance sheet? Well, it's basically two competing forces. On one side, you've got the pleasure of consumption. That is the pure joy of the vacation, the amazing taste of the food, the fun of the new gadget. And on the other side, the pain of paying. That little sting, you know it, that you feel when money actually leaves your hands. Every single purchase we make is a constant battle between these two feelings. And this is a perfect example of how modern tools can totally exploit this system. I mean, think about credit cards. They are absolute masters at hacking this mental bug. How do they do it? They decouple the pleasure from the pain. You get all the joy of buying something right now, but the actual pain of paying for it, that gets pushed a whole month away. That little separation makes the pain feel so much weaker, it blurs our memory of the cost, and what happens? Study after study shows it leads directly to more unplanned purchases and overspending. It's a feature, not a bug, of the system. But okay, this isn't just about our wallets. This hidden programming, it runs deep. It affects something way more complex. And let's be honest, for many of us, far more stressful, our social lives. And that leads us right into our second big bug. This is the one that fuels that all too familiar feeling of social anxiety. The one that convinces us that, yep, we are constantly in the spotlight. It's called the spotlight effect. You know the one. It's that feeling you get when you walk into a room and you're just convinced all eyes are on you. They're judging your bad hair day or that awkward thing you just said. We have this really powerful tendency to believe we're the center of everyone else's attention. But the truth is, it's mostly an illusion that we create entirely ourselves. So the psychologist Thomas Gilovich came up with this perfect experiment to prove this. Just imagine, a college student is asked to put on a deeply embarrassing t-shirt. I'm talking like a giant Barry Manilow face on it, and then walk into a room packed with their classmates. After they leave, they're asked, okay, guess what percentage of people in that room noticed your shirt? Then the researchers go and ask the classmates what they actually saw. And the results were just staggering. The students wearing the shirt predicted that about half the room, 50%, noticed what they were wearing. The actual number? Only about 20%. It turns out we feel like we're living under this giant blazing spotlight, but in reality, most people are just way too busy worrying about their own spotlight to even notice ours. All right, our final bug for today. This one takes us deep into our own ego. It's all about how our brain works around the clock to make sure that we are always the hero of our own story. It's called the self-serving bias. And you can basically think of it as your brain's built-in PR agent. It's this incredibly powerful mental habit where we take all the personal credit for our successes, but we blame outside forces for all our failures. It's a defense mechanism, and its only job is to protect our self-esteem, no matter. Just think about taking a test in school. If you ace it, the self-serving bias kicks right in. I passed because I'm smart and I studied my butt off. See that? It's an internal attribution. But what if you fail? Well, the bias just flips the script. I failed because that test was ridiculously unfair, or the professor clearly has it out for me. That's an external attribution. The outcome changes, and just like that, so does our explanation, always in a way that protects our ego. So, what's the big deal here? Well, this bias helps us build this personal narrative where we are always the smart, competent hero. And while that feels good, it protects our self-esteem. The real danger is that it can completely blind us to our own flaws and stop us from ever really learning from our mistakes. So, we've laid out these 3 really powerful bugs. But the real question is, what now? Is there anything we can actually do about them? Can we outsmart our own minds? Okay, so let's just quickly tie this all together. We've seen how our brain uses this weird emotional logic for money, how it tricks us into thinking everyone is watching us, and how it twists and turns our stories to always make us the hero. But here's the most important shift in perspective. These aren't really bugs or errors in the way a computer has a glitch. They are mental shortcuts. Psychologists call them heuristics that our brains evolved to use. In this incredibly complex world, they're designed for one thing: efficiency and speed, not perfect accuracy. And that brings us to the single most important takeaway from this entire explainer. The very first and most powerful step you can take to get some control over these unconscious biases is simply becoming aware that they exist. You can't fix a program if you don't even know it's running in the first place. So how do we actually put this into action? Well, it really comes down to a simple 2-step process. Step 1 is awareness, which is exactly what you're doing right now. Step 2 is empathy. The next time you feel that spotlight on you, or you feel that self-serving bias kicking in, just pause and actively try to see the situation from someone else's perspective. It's an incredibly powerful way to short-circuit that automatic mental shortcut. And so, I will leave you with a question. Now that you know about a few of your brain's hidden programs, what other automatic shortcuts, what other hidden bugs are you going to start noticing running in your own mind? Thanks for joining us on The Explainer.